back to the Morning Woodward Show here on the Woodward Sports Network. Whether you're listening to us on FM radio, 101.5, 94.7, The Roar. Guys, hear me out. Whether you're on the Woodward Sports app, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, don't care. We got to talk about something. Jim Caldwell. We're going to talk about it now. Chat is on one about this right now. So we'll discuss it. We'll move it up in the show.
Let's do it.
Jim Caldwell. Mike O'Hara comes out, makes his case why Jim Caldwell should be a head coach in the NFL. Mm-hmm. Mike O'Hara, somebody should take away your Twitter. How dare you? This guy does not, the quote-unquote deserve a job. Why? Guys, this is a common theme. If you want to blame anybody, blame the Detroit Lions, not Jim Caldwell. Or the NFL, for that matter.
Right.
Because last I checked, every head coach that's ever taken the head coaching job for the Detroit Lions, they have never had another head coaching job since. Now, is that all their fault? I mean, there's a lot of blame to go around here. Having said that, we got to stop defending Caldwell here. Why? We accept mediocrity in this town? Hockey town, guys. Perspective. What is this? What is Detroit? What is the meaning of Detroit sports? Huh? Bad Boys Pistons. Going to work Pistons. Prime Tigers. All those ALCSs. The World Series runs. Competitive teams spending big money. The Red Wings spending big money. Dynasties. Back-to-back cups. 4 Stanley Cups in that era. One of the original 6. Some of the greatest hockey players you've ever seen touch the ice. Some of the greatest basketball players you've ever seen hit the core. Isaiah Thomas, Joe Dumars, Ben Wallace, Chauncey Billups. Now you have a star rookie in Cade Cunningham. The Red Wings, star rookies in Sider, Raymond. The Detroit Tigers, now they have a top manager. You went from Leland. You had a down cycle. Now you're with AJ Hinch. Excellence. Rebounding, fighting, becoming a good team. That's what Detroit sports is. That's what it's always been. Except for one team that people can't stop defending.
Listen,
I just want to say this about Jim Caldwell.
Let's hear it.
When he got fired, did he, quote unquote, deserve to get fired? After a 9-7 year, I have to look at it and say, you know what? On paper, no. But if any of you used any common sense, they blew the game that would have gotten them into the playoffs. They had blown games historically under Caldwell.
You'd have to be following him to understand.
I don't want to bring up his record against winning teams.
Yeah.
I don't want to bring up his playoff record, his playoff decisions, his coaching decisions, his time management, his use of timeouts, clock management, whatever you want to say. At the end of the day, when you have a GM and you gave him the reins to your franchise, when he says, that is my guy, you get him. Because if it works, you're set for a long time. And if it doesn't, you get rid of both of them. Quinn was not waiting around another year to get Matt Patricia. Now, was that the right decision? Guys, it's not about if it
hindsight
was the right...
No,
it's not even about hindsight. Even at the time, a lot of people were questioning it, to be fair. But having said that, that was the GM's guy and the GM's choice. And that's why he's not the GM anymore. So that is why Jim Caldwell got fired. Not because he wasn't a good man. He was a great man. Very polite, well-spoken, quiet at times. But he wasn't all that football coach. And I don't want to hear how excellent he was. I don't. Sorry. You know what excellence is? Starting off your first 2 seasons 13-3, going to 2 NFC championship games. In a 10-year stretch, winning 6 divisions. How about you do that? How about in a 4-year stretch, you get to the playoff 3 times, 2 times, win a few divisions? Not sneaking in the wild card in the last spot and getting your ass kicked. Have an expectation. Have a standard. That's why Caldwell got fired. It was the wrong move to hire Patricia, absolutely. But the move, the theory, the concept behind the move, guys, was correct. We want to take this to the next level. Unfortunately for the Lions, they did not understand what they had. That team was not a Super Bowl contending team. That wasn't bringing a new head coach, Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr, and you become a Super Bowl contender. No, that was a team that needed retooling and better coaching. And it got neither. It got torn apart and it got worse coaching. And that's why we're here in 2021. Jeff?
And I think people underrated, this is another thing I always look at, is the team was regressing. And you brought up a great point. And I think Jim Caldwell, after he, made his exit from the Lions after the 2017 season, he was hired. Obviously, he did the XFL thing. He was on the committee. And then he actually was interviewed by multiple teams. December of 2018, Green Bay Packers interviewed then. That was when they hired Matt LaFleur. That was after they fired Mike McCarthy. He also interviewed for the New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. Then he, for a short period of time, was with Brian Flores. He had opportunities, and I'm a big Jim Caldwell guy in terms of just being a fan of him. Obviously, I get the firing. That's not what I'm here to argue, but him as a person, him as a coach. But I get the premise of Bob Quinn. I get it. You're a GM of a new team, and you have a coach in place that is not your guy. And you see it all around the league. It's not even just the Detroit Lions. Coaches get fired. And, and luckily this year, it was a little weird because, you had Brad Holmes get brought in. You had Dan Campbell get brought in. So at the same time, it wasn't like Brad Holmes really had necessarily a choice. But with Bob Quinn, he had a choice. He got rid of Jim Caldwell. It's really, and you nailed it on the head, it's who he's brought in after that kind of makes the argument. Like now people want to argue we should have kept Jim Caldwell because of how bad Matt Patricia was. But if you were a home run on the next coach, everyone would be agreeing.
They
mutually.
made awful decisions, Quinn Tricia. It was really bad. And I'm sorry to quote Kalen in the chat. You are pointing out mistakes made by every coach in the NFL. His leadership and the players' respect is what made him a good coach. Missing pieces on the roster would have gotten him over the hump.
But those pieces walked out.
He walked in to a pretty damn near complete roster.
Yeah.
There's no roster in the NFL that all 22 are complete, full. I mean, outside of the Bucs last year, which was ridiculous, even this year. But still, that's never the case in the NFL. He walked in to one of the best rosters, one of the best defensive fronts, one of the most dynamic passing games. Stop it. He was not a good coach. Let me rephrase it, because that's not fair. He wasn't an exceptional coach, even great. He was just good. He was middle of the pack, can win you games. He ain't winning you a division. He ain't winning you a playoff game. He ain't getting you to the Super Bowl.
I wanted to get over the hump, that hump.
And you call it culture changing. If I recall correctly, and please somebody in the chat correct me, when they went 9-7 their last year, if I recall, I may be wrong, it was either 6 or 7 games that they won from behind in the fourth quarter on a last-minute comeback against teams under 500. Somebody correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, please.
Yep, they did. On the last streak of that season, they won. They snapped like
and then they lost
7
to the
out of their
Bengals,
10.
if I recall. And they blew their opportunity.
They did.
To get to the playoffs.
Yep.
Everyone says Quinn wanted his guy. You couldn't have fired. He was going to get fired Caldwell either way. If Caldwell makes the playoffs and actually wins a playoff game,
how do you fire him?
You don't fire him.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Caldwell is just as responsible. Caldwell was always going to be fired, no matter what. Mm-hmm. And look, guys, it's not like he's some horrible... He's not Matt Patricia. He's not even Urban Meyer. I'm not associating him with that. Like, I actually do respect Jim Caldwell. What I refuse to do is elevate him because the crappy standard that we have in this town about the football team. We have really good standards for our basketball team, our baseball team, our hockey team. But when it comes to the football team, we coddle it. We protect it from criticism. We protect it from expectation because all we know is losing over 58 years.
Right.
That's unacceptable to me.
And I think
Adam, you were in the room. It's not the wins and losses back then. It was at the Lions locker room. Listen, I hear Joy Bell talk about culture and locker room every single day on BDE. Every single day, 11 to 1. He will admit on camera that, yes, the culture was really good. but we were never fully prepared. We never had all the details, the little things figured out.
There you go.
We never learned from our mistakes. He was a good coach, and the difference between being good and great in life is the little things. That is why Jim Caldwell got fired. And the Lions, for the first time in a long time, had the mindset, we want to upgrade. We want to go to the next level. And we believe that Caldwell got us in a good spot right now. 40 years, 3 winning seasons. I believe what? 11-5, 7-9, 9-7, 9-7.
Yep.
Correct?
Yep. Correct.
He got us into this zone of we're a balanced football team. This is how we get rid of the same old Lions narrative. Now we need to build on it. We need to deliver a division, deliver playoff wins. Okay, how do we do that? We got to upgrade a head coach. They totally botched it. But they dared. They made the decision to be better. They took the risk, and it failed. It totally did. But I can respect any of you at home taking a risk and a chance to be great and falling on your knees. I'd rather be there to pick you up when you fell taking that chance than watching you sit over there accepting mediocrity.
Yeah.
Sorry. I refuse to do it. I would never do it.
Definitely.
It's not in my DNA.
And I think Nolan hit it right on the head. I think the overall summary of this is Jim Caldwell, if you want to, build a culture and win some games, then Jim Caldwell's your guy. If you want to consistently win divisions, compete for a Super Bowl, Jim's not the guy you're looking for. And he brought up a great point, like back in Indy when he went 14-2. They didn't win the Super Bowl that year. So, you know what I mean? It's the conversation is interesting. It's never a win, or no one's going to win this argument. Because
That's not true, Kalen. I'm sorry. Kalen?
What did Kalen say?
I
What
like
happened?
you. I like you a
The
lot.
only way you
hear
elevate
every
a good
morning, you
coach,
engage with everybody
get
in
him
the
a
chat.
better
You're really
roster.
kind.
Come on.
The only way you elevate a good coach is to get him a better roster. That is not true. That is not true.
You can't coach. You're not that good. You're not that
Guys,
good.
we're not talking about a good coach wanting a good coach. Caldwell was a good coach. When you want to win divisions over an 8-year span, divisions, playoff wins, plural. You want to get to a title game, and maybe, dare I say, a Super Bowl. You need a great coach and a good roster. You can do it. A great coach and a great roster? Let's book it. And then a good coach with a great roster and a great quarterback, you can overcome. Yes, I can agree there. Bruce Arians, he's a very good coach. Tom Brady makes them all great. Holds them all to a different standard. That's the exception, the anomaly. So I don't want to hear it.